Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to ConsoleKits Podcast. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button today. Our main topic is this week, Arcade 1UP came out with this new show. It finally came out. It's Arcade 1UP Dates, and it had David McIntosh from Arcade 1UP and Travis, which is a YouTuber, hosting and asking questions, and we in the community were watching to see exactly what they were going to say. In this episode, I'm going to talk about 3 of the highlights of that show that I appreciated. We'll discuss it. I want to hear from you. This is a live stream, so if you're in the live chat, tell me. I think I got some questions and I got some polls out there. Answer those questions and we'll review them later. And I'd love to hear, your thoughts, of course, the pros and cons of the show, the highs and lows, all of that. Then we have some other topics afterwards. I got an update on my Jurassic Park pinball machine. Ant-Man spoiler-free. Won't get into spoilers, but I'll tell you what I thought of that movie. Super Mario World at Universal Studios Hollywood. I want to talk about that. Tetris on Apple TV Plus. Gaming Historian has a video on that as well. And we'll do open topics. Thank you guys for hanging out in the live stream, especially JJ, Gotham City Adam, Chris Ford, Multicade Matt for coming and hanging out early. We got some more people in here. I hesitated because I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Watskeezy Robert, maybe? I'm sorry. Anyway, let's jump right into it. I don't want to leave you lingering on what is he going to say? What is he talking about? Let's just get right into it. So I'm going to run through this quick, okay? Because I don't want to waste your time. So here's what's going on. So David McIntosh was on the show with Travis MCP. We're going to talk about some of the things that they said. Did you guys know David McIntosh, you guys remember him? David McIntosh, you've been around for a while. He used to work for this company called Chiscom. And, we heard about Chiscom. He was right in the Facebook groups, this company, Harold Chiswick. And Harold Chiswick was the CEO, and David McIntosh basically worked for him. They outsourced all the marketing. Well, eventually, Arcade 1UP hired David McIntosh, and he became the director of marketing. David McIntosh is now the vice president of retail marketing at Arcade 1UP. I did not know that he was a VP now. So it's kind of cool to see him on a show, and it's kind of cool to see this. When we first met him, I met him in 2019 physically in person. Young kid, he's grown up in the company, already a VP. That's a really cool resume, David. That's really awesome. So congratulations on your success. And we in the community are hoping that you continue to have success. Why? Because you're building some products that we'd really love to see some improvements on, positivity, growth, all that stuff. Best of luck to you. Okay, so one of the big things that they talked about on the show, again, I'm not going to highlight everything. I want you to fill in the gaps. If I miss things in the live chat, tell me what I missed out on. Pinball machines, there's some, I'm a little confused exactly about this, but he says, and I quote, "We're trying to find ways to bring that price point down." He's talking about the pinball machine, which was originally $550. I think they were aiming for $499 when it originally came out. It has slowly gone up to $749. Some people own this, but AtGames came in and just blew them away, right? So yes, Arcade 1UP has the IP with Zen, and they have these fantastic titles, Attack from Mars, Star Wars, Marvel. It's awesome, and we would love to see more from Zen Studio. Their partnership, like Universal Pack, Jaws, Back to the Future, would be really cool. But it seems like their configuration of this pinball machine has become very expensive. So my question is, what exactly is that bring that price point down? Does that mean adding value as well? Because that's what I think most of the community actually wants, right? They want the added value, at that price, especially with AtGames just announcing a 32-inch 4K pinball machine. Now, you can say what you want about the new AtGames pinball machine. We don't know all the details. We don't know the price. Are they going to throw in like 120 hertz machine, or is it just going to be 60 hertz? And it sounds like it'd only be 60 hertz, but hey, they can deliver a lot to the community of VP virtual pinball machines. And Arcade 1UP, what are they doing? Is it possible that they're leaning more towards that Pac-Man audience, right? The impulsive buy, and maybe that's okay for us, but maybe if you're serious about virtual pinball, you're just going to go with the AtGames and then let all the impulsive people that are walking through Walmart and see something for $4.99, maybe that's what they'll get. I don't really know. It left me a little confused. I wanted to talk about it. Tell me what you think about this announcement. But I'm going to rush right in because I want to keep these topics going. Another thing he said, we have 2 or 3 more new, like not released titles that are slated to be released over the next few months. This is news to me. I thought there would be very, if not zero, new titles coming out this year. Okay, now, let me tell you exactly what I'm thinking on this one. He says, very nervously, kind of stumbling on his words, searching for the right thing to say. I think he's very professional, but I think also he's got a filter. Like, there's certain things he's holding back. It even sounded like through the video, there were certain things just outside of the camera that he couldn't show because there's like unreleased information. So I think his hesitation is a little bit about accidentally slipping too much. He's the VP, head of marketing, retail marketing, right? So it's possible that he was holding back because he didn't want to accidentally say something. So in that holding back, did he accidentally make a mistake? Like, next few months, typically Arcade 1-Up releases big new titles at E3, which would come in June, and sometimes it's towards the end of the year during the golden quarter Christmas period of time. Will we actually see, a few months from now, like April, a new title? And what would it be? My guess is, since last year we had a leak of one of the machines and it's not yet released, at least one of those machines I think could be Time Crisis. Will it be the same Time Crisis from the release, which was basically the Arcade 1-Up Deluxe version in a Time Crisis package? Maybe. But also, it sounded like they got a lot of feedback from the community, and maybe they're going to do a redesign of that Time Crisis, and maybe that's why they didn't release it. Maybe they are going back and collecting feedback from the community and then going to redesign it. What the other titles are, no clue. But it is really exciting to hear them. If it's true, 2 or 3 more new, not not released titles, as in they haven't released them before, that's pretty exciting. Now, here's what I think about this. I think it's very possible that we had heard in the past that there was basically no new titles coming out this year. There's no leaks. It's basically a re-release year. Now, the community has been very clear what they want. We want new titles. Literally every live stream that I go into, when we talk about different topics, the dominating topic that the audience wants to talk about typically is titles. Like, here we are, Jason right here is like Afterburner, right? This is one of the most common things is you go into these live streams and people are just, boom, throwing out their favorite titles because titles is something that they're really interested in. It's like that game that is sometimes difficult to play on other platforms. Like, maybe you can play it on a Pi, but the controller scheme is so unique that if Arcade 1-Up came out with one and it's your favorite, you would totally buy it. My point is, it's very possible that Arcade 1-Up is listening to the community and hearing new title. Like, the disappointment from the CES announcement was everything announced besides the Wheel of Fortune casino machine was a re-release. And so it's very possible that they're like, oh, man, people really want a new title. Maybe we could do that for them. And here's what I'm thinking about. We had heard from Arcade 1-Up in the past that they said that if they don't need to design a new machine, like they're using the shape of an existing cabinet that's already out there, it's emulated already by one of the emulators they already integrate with, and it's not coming out with any new technology. Then at that point, all they got to do is manage the license, which they claim they own 98% of the market share. I don't know exactly what that means. That means they have the 98% license, or they own 98% of the sales market. I'm not really sure exactly what that means. The point is that all they really got to do is work out the control panel, work out the artwork, boom, bada boom. 6 weeks later, 2 months later, somewhere in that time frame, machines can be built. Now, product development takes a lot longer if you got to do a new cab shape. Well, someone's got to product develop that cab shape. Brand new emulator, someone's got to develop that emulator. New online play integration, that takes time. I don't think they're working on anything brand new, like maybe Tekken is an example. Like, do they have that? Or like Star Wars Trilogy? Do they yet have the ability, what is it, a Sega System 2, I believe it is? Do they have that emulation cracked at a commercial level yet? Maybe not. So that would maybe take time. So, but it's still hopeful, and I think that was the point of him saying that. I think it was his intent to give hope to the community that, yes, we hear you, and yes, we have new titles coming out. And for that, That's cool. That's cool. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let's jump into the next piece here. See if I can get this next one. So we have 2 or 3 more releases. It's very good. Okay. Then he talked about Killer Instinct. It's kind of funny because when I first watched this episode live with everyone, my view of the whole Arcade 1-Up date, my initial feeling was, this is a mess. I mean, Travis's audio is messed up. I have Travis's personal cell phone number, so I'm like, dude, your mic. I see people in the chat. They're like, dude, your mic. You know, it kind of became like the butt of the joke. Most of the chat was filled with that. So it was kind of entertaining. And then, like, right after the show ended, Travis texts me back. He's like, dude, I really wish I would have seen this. And I'm sure he heard it from many people. And I'm sure he was responding to tons of people. Anyway, the point is, my initial reaction was, this is a disaster. They're not giving us any update. And it wasn't till today, because I was planning on doing this podcast, and my wife was going out with friends. I spent some time dedicating, trying to add value to this podcast, trying to watch that video again, take notes, try to figure out, like, what exactly is going on. And I wanted to bring positivity because I was like, hey, here's some highlights of things that kind of I wasn't expecting. This next one is crazy. Like, when I watched it back again, I was like, David actually went there. I don't think they've ever done this. So check this out. This is about the Killer Instinct Pro model. It is no secret that when this came out, the expectations were much higher than what we actually got. Now, full disclosure, I do not have this machine, so I'm not saying anything based on any personal experience. I've watched plenty of videos out there where other people are very passionate in the community were upset with this machine. It was $1,000, and it didn't have the quality they were expecting, mainly around the controls. They're supposed to be high-quality controls, but they weren't actually super high quality. Even Travis in the show talked about that. Like, he's satisfied now only because he swapped out the controls. But part of that $1,000 was paying extra for higher quality controls, and then he still had to upgrade. And then the answer that David McIntosh gave was super surprising. Let's check it out.
This was for the community. We heard everybody wanted a higher quality, a bigger machine, better buttons, better joysticks, better screen, better speakers, then the list goes on. And we thought we could deliver that. And when you go back to what we do best, which is just volume on these very basic entry-level machines, that we do that well. But when it comes to perfecting a high quality, almost we're getting close to the commercial threshold once you start to get into thousands of dollars territory. I don't quite think we had the infrastructure in place or the attention to detail to really put out a Pro Series quality machine. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to discredit the team because they worked very hard to get that.
Sorry about that.
They have Yamaha speakers in there.
All right, sorry about that. Someone mentioned turn it up. This is the first time I'm doing this setup where I'm sharing the screen this way. The point of what he's made is, I'll break it down. So the first thing that David McIntosh says is he highlights what they as a company are good at. And he basically starts describing the $300 Pac-Man machine. He's like, at that scale, we're good at that. But what we're not good at, which was the very interesting thing that David did, he admitted that they kind of suck at something. And that for him to admit that was actually super surprising because in the past, even talking to David personally, which I've done a few times, it seems like there's a lot of pride in the work that he personally does, and admitting that they have a problem is not something I usually hear. In fact, I've heard him personally say where he compares his company and the actions that they should take to very large companies, which I completely disagreed with. I was like, you're not a large company. Maybe your volume is high, sure, but you've also admitted that your margins are very low and you have less than 100 people working at your small company. So the way you interact with the community is special. You have something different than most companies out there. You can't compare yourself to Nintendo, right? Anyway, the fact that he did admit that there's something that they do that they're not great at and that they need to learn and they need to listen. And then he kind of mentioned something about a focus group. I think maybe that's one of their ideas. Maybe This is kind of interesting, a general statement from Arcade 1UP. Like, I'm trying to understand why is it that Arcade 1UP does need help. I've helped them a few times. Travis is helping them currently. And even the community feedback is like, why do we need, like, a YouTuber to help them? And the reason is, I think, is they're not doing it themselves. Like, we in the community, like, understand, maybe because we dedicated a lot of time reading posts, watching videos, all these various things that are in the community is second nature. But I don't think it's their hobby. Like, John D works for Arcade 1UP. David McIntosh works for Arcade 1UP. And I think they clock out at 5 o'clock. And they're focusing on things that we probably don't have any clue about. We don't know anything about. Maybe it's a stressful job. I don't really know. But the point is, when the fact that he would admit that they didn't do well on the Killer Instinct, and there's room for improvement. And what he said, I 100% agree with. Like, the fact that they came out with a machine which was community driven, that even 1UP Weekly, I think we covered a show where we were like talking about a pro series. We got fan feedback from the audience, and they gave their input. We know John D was watching those shows. John D was on some of those shows that we did. And so this pro model finally came out. It was driven from the community, not just the 1UP Weekly, but many shows talked about this high quality machine that we're hoping for. And everything based on pictures were like on paper, it looked good. It looked good on paper. Like, hey, you got the crispy screen. You got a BOE 5x4. Totally understand. There's not a lot of 4x3 19-inch monitors out there. All this quality, your hope. But then when it actually was delivered, there's lack of quality. And so there's a lot of feedback that I've seen from the community, and I'm hoping they actually listen. Feedback like, what's wrong with just telling everyone that, here's the tough thing. They want to like wait to the last minute to announce machines. They've done that. They've also done something where they announce a machine way ahead of time. But one thing they've never, ever, ever done is like produce a machine that gets sent to people, not that I know of at least, that actually review the pre-production unit ahead of time. Experts in the community, not necessarily me, like maybe, I don't know, like people that really know hardware in and out, really know the game in and out, like really, it doesn't have to be content creators, just experts, or maybe even Arcade 1UP employees themselves, and have plenty of time to scrutinize it. Have a QA team that just scrutinize this machine in and out and says, how can we make it the best possible? Now, I've heard some things where there's been times where there has been some debate of what quality parts should go in a machine, and there's certain people at 1UP that are like, basically when it comes out and the community is upset, there's like John D has said, I told them, but they wouldn't listen. He said that on streams before. And so it makes me feel like at some point someone makes a decision, and sometimes those decisions are bad. I don't know. So what do you guys think? That's what the highlights from the show, the positivity that we can get from it, is this interesting idea that they did highlight some points where they've made mistakes. There's a ton of things that you could say negative about the show, like their update for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 wasn't really an update. They basically said March, but what is March? Is March another show where they'll make an update, or will there actually be a release? A release of the firmware update in March? Who knows? It's been a long time so far, and those that really love that game and own it have been waiting for a long time. I guess they want to get it right, but I guess they did admit, if you're going back to the positive, Arcade 1UP did admit that they kind of explained their problems, where this was the first time where they didn't allow enough time, or they did not anticipate enough time for the software development side of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And so the product development time and the manufacturing was all set up to a date, and it's basically always worked before in the past where you got this schedule and you got that schedule, and it all lines up. Basically, I think Simpsons was the first one where it was like day one patches, and now it's like the day one patch is super common, but then like the day one patch doesn't even include everything that the box included. And I guess he admitted, yeah, they messed up on the timing. But now they know, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. I'm gonna back up in the stream a little bit. Mike says, gotta love YouTube. It autoplayed a Console Kit show from 9 months ago after the stream had already started. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see. The sweet spot for Arcade 1-Up is the titles that cannot be ran on the ALU. 100% Monopoly. I need a Star Trek cab next to my Star Wars. That would geek me 100%. Yeah, makes me wonder. So they just confirmed Street Fighter Alpha series. Is that right? Did they? I'm trying to think. Oh, out of the 3. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. They didn't announce a Street Fighter at CES. Is that because they have ideas for Street Fighter, so they wouldn't do a re-release because they got Street Fighter Alpha coming out? That would fit. Let's see. No wonder they released so many versions of Pac-Man. So that's another thing we learned, right? They basically said or confirmed, we've heard this before, but basically hearing it from David, the way he spoke about it was pretty interesting about this. Explicitly, the Pac-Man machines are their highest selling machine, and that's what drives the innovation of the company. Like, the only way that they can deliver the titles that we want is by continuously re-releasing Pac-Man for the new consumers that come in, impulse buy, that gives them money. They use that money to build the next machine. And then those are at lower quantity, but hopefully they can make some money on that. Looks like your Star Wars marquee is on, but the screen is not. Is it broken? No. So I picked just the normal Star. You can kind of see the text, right? I usually pick when I do these shows, I usually pick the Return of the Jedi because it's bright and you can kind of see it in the background. But today I didn't. Oh, I see. Your next comment's like disregard. So some of the topics interesting. Dungeons and Dragons movie is coming out. Release 4-player Gauntlet at the same time. That's interesting. So yeah, I did see Ant-Man, and Dungeons and Dragons was in as one of the trailers. It was kind of interesting because it looked funny, and I didn't know it's Dungeons and Dragons until the title. So it was kind of like, whoa, I didn't know it was going to be that. It's kind of fun. Let's see. Scrolling down a little bit for some more comments. Constream says, regardless of what happens next March, is the release of the deluxe cabinets. April is probably going to be some kind of light gun game. May will be the Capcom, Atari, and Miss Pac-Man Deluxe. Okay, so we should be getting March. Yeah, I think March or April we should be getting the existing deluxes that they announced. Yeah, so that makes sense. So you're thinking that there will be the following will be a Capcom, Atari, Miss Pac-Man Deluxe cabs. It could be. But I think he was talking about titles that have never been released. Brand new titles like Time Crisis. That's cool. The devil's in the detail. All right. The quality of the components show how little the owners of Arcade 1-Ups actually compare. Owners, I think he's referring to not people that own Arcade 1-Up machines, but people that run the company. They actually care about consumers. He is literally pulling a Tom Tellerico type of cover his butt. It could be. They have improved, I will say that. So the quality keeps on coming, but very slowly. And the next new quality that they've talked about is the buttons. They have a new button design. They worked with the manufacturer to increase the quality of the buttons. But the question is, when will that come out? My understanding is they bought a whole bunch of inventory of the new button styles, and they got to get through the whatever buttons they have now. So maybe the deluxe will have the new. They're probably going to screw it up where like some people will buy the deluxe machine and other people will buy a different deluxe machine, and it's the same Pac-Man. We're like, man, this one has better buttons than that one. That would suck, but it wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. Carl, exactly. It was laughable to hear that they are thinking about commercial application when they are stumbling with a consumer-grade pro model. So I hear what you're saying, JT Brunick. I was trying to understand what David McIntosh was talking about when he kept on saying commercial. And the best I have is, what if he talked about pro, and then he said pro is basically almost commercial. And so I wonder if he's just in his head, he's like commercial is above pro. And maybe in his head, he's like, what the company or what the audience, what we thought people wanted was what we called the pro. But actually at $1,000, what people want is what he calls commercial. Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's like they didn't spend the additional effort into making sure everything was perfect. Like, you got to have great buttons. No one complains, right? Like, if it's preference, sure, if you like the Sanwa style or concave or convex, that should be the only reason why you swap it out. And even if you want to swap out to convex or concave, you should almost be like, oh, torn, because you're like, man, these buttons are so good. The only reason I'm swapping them out is because I prefer this different texture, the way it's set up. That would be good. And maybe in his brain, he's calling that commercial. I don't think David actually means that they should sell commercially, like inside an arcade. I really hope that's not what he meant. I think it's just some other term above pro. Because I think the sentence would completely fit if he said, what I think we should do is come out with a premium machine. Like, we got the XL, we got the Pro, and then we got a premium. And the premium machine is absolutely the best, highest quality. In fact, we'll just get rid of the Pro. No one needs the Pro line. But we'll do the premium machine. Basically, it'd replace it. Take that same sentence and imagine it's commercial. We're going to do a commercial machine. And I don't think he means not an operating machine. It just doesn't make any sense. I bet most of their licenses don't allow a coin door, right? Like, they would have to pay more for the license, right? If there's I'm talking about literally takes coins, right? That's a different license model. I just think commercial, he meant quality. Like, the quality level has to be an 11. Something like that. Anyway, super chat from Console Fanboy. He says, Justin, can you help my friend MGK? He deserves more subs. He needs like 20 more for 250. Can you help? I'll try. Those of you in the chat, if you could do a favor, check this out. This is how it works. You're going to go to Mike Game Killer MGK. If he has like 20 more subs, he can get to 250. Now, what's going to happen if you've never heard of MKG, you're going to go look for MKG. His link is right there, youtube.com @MikeGameKillerMGK. You go hit that subscribe button. Now, what that's going to do is going to start feeding some content from his channel to your YouTube. You watch a few videos, see if you like it. If you love it, keep on subscribing. If you're like, no, his content's not for me, you're welcome to unsubscribe. But I've watched his content. He makes good content. So I think that if you go there, you'll be pleasantly surprised. And not only will you subscribe, well, you'll keep that subscription. So let's try to get him to 300. Can we do it, Console Fanboy? You keep track of it, buddy. Can we get him to 300? He's a cool guy. I've been on a show. If you go over to his channel, you might be able to see me on a podcast with him. We had a lot of fun. So go check him out. Super chat from Anthony. He says, you can tell that they don't send out full demo units for testing. As an example, KI Pro Chrome Edges banding flakes off from playing. The Chrome Edge banding flakes off from playing. OTG has a video. See, this is kind of reminding me of 2018 days where it's like they didn't thoroughly test the machines and the artwork ended up rubbing off. Like they had a machine kind of like they have at IKEA that keeps on pressing buttons and like keep on touching the surface, but they hadn't considered like oily hands, and the oily hands just destroyed the artwork, and then they put the plexiglass over it. It seems like this is exactly what they're not very good at. Once they get into something new, it's kind of par for the course, right? Whenever Arcade 1-Up comes out with something different, that means they don't have experience in it. They usually get it wrong the first time. And then they kind of get it better than the next few times. There was some other things in the video that was interesting. David McIntosh himself was really interested in Qbert. I wonder if that is just truly him saying, I wish we could do a Qbert, or is that his way of, like, they are coming out with Qbert. He knows Qbert's coming out. He knows Qbert is one of the machines that's coming out today, this year. So he mentioned he would personally like Qbert to come out because he knows it's coming out. And he'll be right. I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm reading too much into it. But that is exactly what I thought when he said it, because, you know, I've seen that type of behavior in people before. It's psychology or whatever. It's like they know it, but they're trying to hide it, but then they say they would prefer it. John D does it all the time. If you go back to all the streams where John D talks about what he would prefer, a lot of times it's basically what they're doing. Or that's him selling to the audience the same pitch that he had to Scott Baccarat. And then now he's going to be like, oh man, Scott, I was on this stream. There was like 300 people in there. And I said the same thing I told you last week in our business meeting, that we should totally come out with a Konami beat 'em up cabinet. And they all agreed with me. And then sometimes Scott goes, well, if they all agree with you, then we should totally do it. And then they do it. It's probably as dumb as that. Let's see. Jason, did you receive your pinball? So this is crazy. So I have 4 pinball machines, full-size pinball machines that I physically own. 2 of them I have, and soon they'll move down, but I'm waiting for the other 2 to be delivered, so because I'm hiring someone to get it down into my basement. So the one that's coming that I bought from Captain's Auction is a Jurassic Park pinball. It's the Pro version, and the one that comes later is Godzilla Premium. And so, you know, I spent a lot of time playing a ton of pinball machines, trying to figure out exactly which ones I really like based on, I don't know, the ones I really like. Some are way out of my price range, like Attack from Mars is fantastic. There's 2 machines here in Des Moines. I play them very often. There's one that's the remake. That one's near my house in Grimes. And then downtown Des Moines at Up Down, they have like the original. Both play fantastic. And I play them a lot, but those are pretty expensive. So I'll just play those at those pinball places. But Jurassic Park, it's just like everywhere, that every single place that I go that I play Jurassic Park, I just love it so much. And although there's other games that I also enjoy, just nothing can beat like Jurassic Park and Godzilla for me. Like it just can't. I've tried so many titles. Recently I started playing X-Men. They have that at Up Down because that's a new machine they just brought in. It's an older Stern machine, like 2012. It's awesome. I love that one. Out of all the games that I played, like that one's like a, man, maybe I would love to own that one. But I don't know. I'm on a like freeze from buying everything right now, so I can't spend any money for at least 6 months. But so I'm all tapped out. Not gonna buy anything new. But in my head, I'm like making a list. I have like a note in my phone in notes that are like, these are the machines that I love playing. Anyway, like I'm rating them myself. Anyway, so, man, the Jurassic Park pinball, it's like really upsetting me. So I'm using Bellman for delivery, and they are super nice. The price ended up being pretty good. But I get a notification. I keep every day or multiple times a day, I go to this website and like tracking it. And it keeps on saying it'll be delivered tomorrow. Every day it says it's going to be delivered tomorrow. And then later in that day, it's all like, no, it's going to be delivered day after tomorrow. And I bet if I go check it now, it'll say Tuesday now. So it's starting to upset me a little bit because I like it snowed the other day. So I was like clearing out all the snow. There's all this ice. So I was working on the ice. And yeah, right now, Right now it says it'll be delivered. This is if it'll show up. Oh, who cares? It says Monday. So tomorrow. But I guarantee you it won't come in tomorrow because it's still in Illinois. So that's frustrating. It's super frustrating. But I've been working in the basement, clearing out a ton of space, rearrange it, working on my game room. I thank you so much, all those people that allowed me to review their game room for like 9 weeks. I was doing every Wednesday a game room tour, and it helped me visualize what I can do in my basement. And I'm probably a fourth of the way there, but I got a CRT set up. I got an HD TV set up. I got a couch. I got a chair. It's all like super optimized for me and maybe a couple buddies to come over and just have fun playing. I saved a ton of money on not finishing the walls, but I ended up going with, I don't think you can see it, but I'll see if you can see it. You can. See how dark that is? Let's see, I can't even, behind me, it's super dark. So what you're seeing is this is acoustic sound blankets. I have acoustic sound blankets wrapping the entire room. So when the lights are off and it's just like, these type of lights, like Christmas lights or LED lights, it looks great because the walls, instead of being that white paper for like the installation stuff, it's like a sound blanket, and the room sounds so much better. So when you get the pinball machines in here and they're all firing, like the room's acoustic, I think will be a lot better. When it's all done, I'll do a tour. I hate like I've never done a game room tour because I'm just basically embarrassed. Like I'm embarrassed to show off. Like I think the audience is expecting like my basement to be extravagant or something. Like it's not anything special. It's just some games in a room. And like, I was like, oh, I should do a game room tour. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, I'll do a game room tour where I show off people's stuff. And then everyone's stuff is a million times better than my game room, which is great. So I got to get some rugs. So I was playing down here and I was like, yeah, the concrete floors, I need a rug. So I have just a crappy rug there for now. But anyway, hopefully I'll receive the pinball machine soon. Super excited about that. And I'm doing a lot of research into like how to be able to get pinball machines into my basement myself. Looking into a couple different options for that. And the reason why is because in my area, there's a pretty decent size pinball community. I started meeting more people, going to tournaments and things like that, and getting to know people that own pinball machines in their house. There's auctions. There's all this stuff that I'm exposed to. I got phone numbers of a ton of people. And so if I have the ability to easily move pinball machines in and out of my basement, then I could do some trading, right? So I would like to buy an older machine and then play it for a year or something like that, bring it to auction, basically buy someone else, or just put a post out there on the Facebook market saying like willing to trade, like I have this and I wish I had that, and then play that one for a year. So I think that's really cool. And so I want to get into that, but to be able to bring it in and out of my basement, I need to come up with a good solution. Thanks for bringing up that topic that was on my list to kind of talk about. Probably higher quality sturdy. Yeah, I believe so. Let's see. Everyone's talking about that commercial. Get Him 20 is doing a giveaway. Okay, I missed that. You're getting 250 tonight. There you go, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's awesome. You're cool, man. Let's see. They did say they have 98% of the arcade license. That was surprising. I didn't know it was that high. Yeah, so that 6 inches of snow came down fast. Yeah, it came down fast. It was super slushy. I was worried because, again, people were making fun of me. I was on this other show talking about it. But, like, what I think is going to happen is the pinball machine's going to come in a semi, and they're going to park at the road. And they're going to be like, because there's been some deliveries that are like it. And they're like, come pick it up. And so my driveway, it's like at the edge, there's an incline, and then it goes flat, and then it's kind of a long driveway. And so I want to clear it, and I don't want it to be cold, and I don't want it to be blowing snow while I'm like out there talking to the dude, trying to get him to help me. I assume he's going to lower it down, and then, does he have one of those little hand truck dollies or something? And then we gotta get it to the house. And I was just afraid that there would be a situation where it would be very difficult. Like we would get stuck, and he's like, I got to go to the next drop off. Like, I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to have a 250-pound pinball machine at the end of my driveway on a, like in a crate or something like that, Anyway, it should be fine. It should be fine. I probably got too anxious over the idea, but the main point on that last show when I was talking about that was it has been sunny, and it's sunny today, and all the snow is melted, and it was sunny last week. My main point was, out of all the days for it to be delivered, why does it have to be delivered on the one day where there's a ton of snow, and prior to that there's no snow, and afterwards it's going to melt? Like, why did it have to come on that day? That was my main point. Ballistic says that he was fine with the Arcade 1-Up show, but it definitely could have used something special. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest, and ended kind of abruptly. Yeah. It's probably just going to be the way it is. I think the format of that one update is live, freeform, off the cuff. So it's going to be different than some of their other shows, right? I don't know. Maybe their announcement shows will be quick and to the point, but it is what it is. I don't know. I think it was only 6 is what we got. Let's see what else we got. I just uploaded my new game room video on YouTube yesterday. I added the 80s corner. Looks awesome. That's cool, man. Kongs I feel you, Justin. Never done any game room tour. Embarrassed my arcade is also my workshop. That's right. Yeah, like I got a lot of things going on in this room. It's super dirty right now. I mean, like messy. It's not dirty. It's just messy. I have piles of things everywhere as I'm rearranging and moving things around. Whoa, dude, seriously, what the heck is going on? You didn't have to do this, man. $99 super chat. I really appreciate it. WMX99. $99 super chat. Here's to sunny day deliveries. Dude, that is really cool. Tell me in the chat what you want. Like $100 is $100. Like, I don't deserve that. Like, literally, like, what do you need? let me give back. Let me give back. Like, you own the topic. You own the stream. Like, what is it you want to talk about? WMX99. 100%. This is your show now. Do you want me to take my shirt off? Whatever. I'm joking. While we're waiting for him to tell us exactly what this show should turn into, let's see. Jurassic Park update. We talked about it. Ant-Man spoiler free. Yeah. Let's see. Keep doing what you're doing. All right. Really appreciate it. Yeah. That's awesome. Really, really nice, man. Appreciate that. So we don't have a lot of time, and we've been ranting a lot about it. So Ant-Man, if you haven't seen it, here's my thoughts. It's not the best Marvel movie that came out. Yeah. I think he wants $98 back. Maybe he meant $1.99. That's funny. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about spoilers about Ant-Man, just generally how I thought about it. It's good. I talked to I went with my wife, just my wife and I. It was kind of like a date movie type of thing, which we haven't done a lot because we have a 14-year-old, but she was actually at friend's house. So we just went to the theater together. So I had a really good time because it's been a while since I've just like went to the movie with only my wife. It was like kind of our thing. We did that for the Top Gun. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, so Ant-Man spoiler free. I don't know. I give it like a 7 out of 10. Like, I think there were some amazing scenes in it that were really awesome. I was telling my wife, like, if it wasn't Ant-Man, like it could have just been like a kind of like John Carter. Remember the movie John Carter where they go to Mars? My wife made me watch that because she read the book, and then I read the book, and it was a great story. You know, it was made by the same guy that did what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. Who did John Carter? But anyway, I can't remember. But the point is like the Ant-Man story. It's like a straight up pretty good science fiction movie, and they created this entire storyline about them in the quantum universe, and that was kind of cool. Like everything about the quantum universe was really cool. And it just so happened to be that Ant-Man was the main character and there was a bad guy, and you know, they got to work that out. And the acting in it, I think, was really good. But I'll tell you one thing that I thought it was missing is in the previous Ant-Mans, they were really funny. Like there was just all these scenes of like ridiculous things happening, or like it reminds me of the scene where he's like on a skateboard and he's like really big and they're going through, and that was hilarious. It was like really funny to see Ant-Man like be on this really large like skateboard. Things like that were really funny. And so there wasn't really a lot of scenes of them being funny. Like I did laugh a few times, but it was just like an entertaining science fiction movie. And so I think maybe if you haven't seen it, if you go in knowing like, hey, it's a really good science fiction movie that you should totally see. It lacks some things. I was trying to break it down. Like I was hoping for like a really cool like twist and like or the bad guy, like how could I have connected with the bad guy more? Like sometimes in movies, there's a bad guy that like kills everybody, but then it explains why he does it. And you're kind of like, whoa, if I was given that same, I'm like, I don't think I'm a murderer. I don't think I would mass murder people. No, that's not me. But wow, that was messed up. What happened to him, that totally makes sense. That if that happened to someone, seriously, dude, what are you doing? What is this guy doing? Okay. Not a typo, just like to support channels I watch. Rarely catch live, so make up for lost time. YouTube has a 500 daily donation limit, though. Wow, really appreciate you, WMX99. Wow. Really appreciate it. I don't even know what to say, man. If there's a multicell organism in the quantum universe, which is smaller than particles comprising them, can they go smaller? This is a great question. There is a lot of like like if you can go into the quantum world, but you are in the quantum world, what are you comprised of now? You know, like you're down to like a single particle, then are you really just a single particle now? But there's an illusion of 5 fingers, 10 fingers, and all of that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I think with a science fiction movie like that, you just kind of ignore that, right? Gong's Rest, that's at least 4 lap dances. Jeez. Yeah, wow. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that's Ant-Man. Let's talk about this other thing really quick. Let me go over here before we end the show. There's a couple. Okay, so you guys know about Tetris. So on Apple TV Plus, there's an entire movie that's about Tetris. And so the trailer just came out, released recently on that. And I think it was a really awesome trailer, but it made me be reminded, and I wanted to make sure everyone in the chat saw this. Now there's the story of Tetris by Gaming Historian. It's been viewed 3.6 million times in the last 5 years. If you have not watched the story of Tetris, I highly recommend that you watch it. It's a very exciting story. Gaming Historian did a really great job kind of explaining the challenges of the game, like who created it, and the story about the entire thing is really awesome. Well, that same story, not Gaming Historian written, but Gaming Historian was just wrote about the events that took place. The events that took place about Tetris basically coming to Game Boy, like everything it took for that to happen, is being captured in this movie called Tetris that's going to be on Apple TV. And so Tetris is, in the hearts of a lot of us, and I definitely wanted to make sure that that topic was well known, and it's something that excited me this week. And it makes me want to watch the Gaming Historia video again, because I remember really enjoying it. But I think I watched it on my phone, but I'm thinking about watching it on the TV this time. Ashton Smith, really appreciate the donation. $20. Never catch your stream live. Love your show. Keep it. Great work. Yeah. It means a lot. It means a lot. There's a lot of love in the room right now, and you don't have to give me money to show your love. I appreciate it. It'll go to a good use for sure. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll keep doing it. I mean, it's very inspirational. JJ, what are your thoughts on the rumors that ESPN Plus will be spun as of Disney is losing money badly? Just curious. Hey, JJ, I think I can't talk about this. It's a high conflict of interest for me on a public live stream to talk about Disney as a company. And I'll tell you this, I have no clue what will happen, what will come out of that. I can tell you that I'm very interested in the topic, and I consume a ton of content on a daily basis related to that entire topic. But I don't think I should speak on it. And I think you know why I can't speak on that. Wish I could. Let's see. Yeah, the Tetris. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Tetris theme is so great. What is the Tetris theme? My wife, her favorite game of all time is Tetris. And when we were dating, I bought her a Game Boy Color with Tetris, and we still own it. And then I even bought a replacement since then. It's the purple Game Boy Color. And so who is that? Because the song in Tetris is just a classical song. I gotta look it up now. Tetris song. The original Tetris theme, isn't it? Isn't it just Korobinski? Is it a Russian musician? Yeah. First printed. I'm on Wikipedia, and I don't know if I'm talking about this, but that guy, 1861? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But the song, the Russian folk tune called Karobininki, which isn't copyrighted. This particular version is copyrighted. However, you just can't copy and paste whatever. Tetris Company. Yeah, I think it's an old song, right? Main theme. Let's see. Mike Game Killer MGK, which all of you need to be subscribing to. Give the dude a chance. Check out his channel. He says, man, thanks to you and Zohar, Console Fanboy, and Endless One Up for helping me. I absolutely love this community. Voice of the people. Man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's get this guy to 300. And I normally never do this because I feel like might be imposing. I don't like to ask people, but I would love to come on your show, Mike, if you're willing to have me again. We can do a show together. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Go over, check out Mike GK. Hopefully he'll allow me to come hang out for another show. We'll celebrate something fun. That would be really cool. Yeah, game version on the Switch. Now, while we're talking about that subject of Tetris, I had seen recently that there's a Tetris game that's on the Switch, and that Tetris game on the Switch now has Tate mode. What is it? Tetris Express? No. Now I got to look it up because I don't have that version. It's like, so there's Tetris 99. I remember playing that. Tetris Effect. So Tetris Effect, I think now you can play it in vertical mode, and that sounded really cool to me. No, I don't think it's Tetris 99, right? Tetris 99 is the one where you're competing, so you need that real estate. And that kind of illustrated an interesting thing when I was playing Tetris 99. Ooh, that was fun. I remember doing that. It was a lot of fun. Did you guys play Tetris 99? I don't think I ever got first place. I tried, though. I tried. Maybe I did. I don't know. I know I got close. But that was a good time when I was playing that. Anyway, Tetris Effect, I was reading this on Nintendo Life, their website. Let me pull this up real quick while we're on the topic of Tetris. And it was this week, I want to say, there was an article that was released, and it was talking about, nope, we're almost there. There it is. Tetris Effect. Let me share my screen. Tetris Effect. Here it is. Tetris Effect Connected is getting Tate mode in a free update. Check that out. If you have like the flip switch thingy, imagine playing Tetris like that. It's kind of cool. Here's a tweet where someone's... Oh, I thought it would be like fill the screen more. What's going on? Connected gets vertical with the new Tate mode. It looks small. Like I'm now all of a sudden super disappointed. Like I assumed if you're going to play it, it's going to be like the game is filled, right? Like I don't need any surrounding, you know? Huh. Now I'm disappointed. I don't recommend that. Like, I don't know. I'm going to look into it more. Maybe they got something cool going on. Okay. Oh, is that it? I see. You zoom it. That's the default mode. Let me see. Tetris Effects Connected gets vertical with the new Tate mode. Here it is with the grip flip. Replying. Okay. I'll look into it some more. I see. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see. What other topics that I had outlined? Oh, yes. Here we go. Check this, guys. Check this out. So we got the Tetris, right? That's not what I want. We got Tetris. Let's zoom over here. Come on. Who lives near LA, right? I think Console Fanboy lives near LA. Why he hasn't made a video about him... you jerk. OTG, hold on. OTG, he made a super chat of $20. Did you say I'm like way hyping this up. This is not what OTG sounds like. So let me go with the gimmick. Did you say the only way to express love is by super chatting? Think that's what I heard. Here's mine. You do great things for the community, which is not what you said a few years ago when you accused me of chasing Destiny FOMO around New York. But now we're friends, kind of. We never talk, but I just go to OTG's live stream, the Retro Party, and my entire job is just to try to get OTG to laugh. That's all I do. I'm just like, every comment, like, come on, let me get him. And then it's like tickling him. I love tickling OTG. It's like, is that ticklish? Is it? Oh, got you. And then he's like, oh, Justin ConsoleKits in the chat. He's making me laugh. That's why I love that show. And I'll be honest with you, like when you're not on the show, I get disappointed. I'm like, what? Weekly Retro Party without OTG? Come on. Now I got no one to tickle. Yeah, of course you're laughing now. She's super nice. So I got to hang out with Destiny FOMO with RetroRGB Bob in New York in 2020. Bob and I were hanging out, and Destiny texted him and was like, hey, I want to hang out. Let's go to the bar or whatever. And I was like, yeah. So we all went, and we had a lot of fun. It was really cool. And then she was like super knowledgeable about video games. Like, I was surprised. I was like, is she just this girl YouTuber that really her boyfriend is running the channel and she's pretty and then she's just doing these videos, you know, like, is she really into video games? But when I met her in person, like, she knew way more than I did about a lot of these games. And what was interesting is when I met her in person, you know, a lot of her videos, she's kind of like, let's say she's revealing a lot. She was like super modest. Like, I don't know. She was a modest person in real life, if that makes any sense. And she's very short. Like I think under 5 feet. But she was super fun to hang out with. Yeah. I really liked her. Like, Bob hangs out with her because she's really cool. And at the time, she lived like a couple blocks away. And she has a ton of hardware. Like, we're talking like a ton. I just realized what I said. She owns a lot of gadgets. She owns a lot of equipment that Bob would like to borrow. I'm digging myself. Anyway, we're talking about a content creator named Destiny FOMO. The reason why some people are making fun of her is she started out as a content creator, but I think her largest fame is she's on a different platform now that's a little bit more revealing than YouTube. But she didn't do any of that when I met her. So anyway, whatever. Universal Studios Hollywood. That's right. She does modeling. Universal Studios Hollywood just dropped this, was it Super Nintendo World? I just want to call it Super Mario World. And so I'm excited to see more videos online of just random content creators or people showing off Universal Studios now with this Super Mario World. I was talking to my daughter. I was like, hey, you know, if we were to go to like Disneyland, Disney World, a lot of different options where we would want to go, and going to Disneyland or going to LA seemed pretty appealing because on that list as Universal Studios. Now, I used to live in California, and boy, if I live there now, man. So I had passes to Universal Studios. My wife and I would go there all the time. This is like maybe 15 years ago. We go to Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry. Let's see, what's that other place we'd go to? Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry, Medieval Times. We'd go there a lot. Disneyland. We were stupid poor. Like I like literally the cheapest 2-bedroom we could find. I made $12 an hour. We lived on ramen noodles, but we would get these year-long passes to like Disneyland, which was $99 a person. And at the time, you paid $30, you get free parking. And we basically had no money, but we had access to all the parks because I think Universal Studios was like $70 a year. Anyway, so we'd save up the little bit of money we have, get access to a couple parks, and live paycheck to paycheck. There were many times I worked a 4-10 schedule, so it was cool. I had like Monday off, which was really good for annual passes. Like no one was there like on a Monday or Tuesday. So we'd go, and I remember we'd have like $20 to our name, and we had it figured out. Like we could go to Disneyland on $20, get a hot dog, 2 hot dogs, I think, and make it home with no money and then get paid and then pay rent. It was just really, I mean, obviously it could have been much worse, but we really made it work. We stretched that money as far as we could. Anyway, if we live there now, totally go to Universal Studios, especially with this new Mario or Super Nintendo Land. It's a weird name. Let me see if I can get over here. Scrolling down, so they have a video on it. I don't see a lot of people talking about this.
Here we go.
Let's see. But, I mean, let me kind of skip through the video a little bit. I mean, some of these activities that they show off just look awesome, right? And, like, who doesn't love Mario? Even if you don't, like, this is a part of your childhood, right? Like, the idea that you could go into an amusement park and it's just all Super Mario World. I want to know more. I want to know a ton more. The little bit of videos I've seen, I got to look into it more, but the one thing I've seen is, like, you can play Mario Kart. Like, there is a race car, you know, like a bumper, not bumper car, but, you know, like maybe a bumper, not bumper car. No, like you're just doing a race, like you're at Disneyland or something, right? But it's all Mario themed. Like, that alone was like, yeah, I'm in. I want to do that. So that's really cool. Let's see. So Jurassic Park update. Ant-Man's pretty cool, pretty good, maybe a 7 out of 10. Super Mario World or Super Nintendo Worlds at Universal Studio Hollywood. It's opening up. Keep an eye out that for content creators that may cover that, or just websites, articles. Check it out. See if it's going to be any good. If you live in that area, I would love to hear from you if you've been there. I'm hoping to see more material on that soon. And for the next, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, let's just chill for a little bit. Let's relax. In the chat, if you got any topics, type in the word topic, and let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'll wait. Waiting for a topic. I'm not going to talk about anything else, because if I do, I'm going to go on a rant about that thing, and then I'm not going to read your chat. Say the word topic, and then I'll read your topic, and we'll discuss it. We'll go on to the next one. Here we go. Mad Astro Gaming says, topic, spring predictions. I think it's going to be warm in spring. I assume now he's actually talking about Arcade 1-Up. I don't think they're coming out with anything. I think we're getting a deluxe, and that's it. Let's see. She Lion's interview. So I think I haven't finished it. I think I only listened to about half of it. And then I got busy. I had to go do something, then I forgot about it. I did like it so far. I liked She Lion's open questions, and he was kind of talking about the story of John D. meeting Scott Baccarat. And I remember John telling me at some point when I had met up with him how he wanted to tell that story. And I think I've heard parts of it before about Scott Baccarat sent a crate to John D. when he worked at Capcom. It's a really cool story. He tells it on She Lion Gaming channel. So if you haven't watched the interview with John D., go check it out. She Lion Gaming. I'm about halfway through. I'm very satisfied with it so far. I think you would be too. I think you would really enjoy that. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I don't know much about it, but I think the understanding is Winnie the Pooh is now public domain. Is that what's going on? And so anyone can come out with any movie. It feels like this movie company has been thinking about it for a while, and we're ready right when, I don't know, I haven't looked into it, but I remember hearing a couple years ago Winnie the Pooh is so old that the story is so old it'll become public domain soon. It's like a horror movie. I don't think I've watched the trailer. Let's see. Do you know how to code in Lua? So I think I've done a little bit in Lua. I remember, ROM patches are on Lua. Like if you want to do any logic in the data stream is Lua. I've played around with it. I don't code daily in Lua. So in the past, I've coded in C++, Java, C, C#. But mainly now I do web development on the front end and some services, mostly Node.js and TypeScript. I really enjoy the front end, and I basically really love JavaScript. It's a horrible language, but there's a book on the good parts by Douglas Crockford. early on to programming, I got into Douglas Crockford, and I really liked his attitude towards using the best parts of the JavaScript language, which is way ahead of its time. Closures, I don't know. There's a lot of features that are in the JavaScript language that is really cool. And for my job, I've been thinking about like what I do. It sounds pretentious, but I think I'm a language expert is what I do. It's mostly my job to innovate the next language modeling that we're using in our architecture. So I teach TypeScript to a group of about 40 developers, train them on how to use it. I write code. I illustrate anything complex that we need to do in the next series. Typically, I take those tickets, how to do good TypeScripting with generics and model view controllers, higher order components, getting all those types to flow. I illustrate that on my team and write the code for it, demonstrate it, and people kind of use those technologies. But Lua, not an expert at it by any means, but I could probably get around a little bit in it, but I don't know if I could contribute much. Let's see. Do you do any PC gaming? I do zero PC gaming. I never got into PC gaming. It's just I don't know, black spot in my life. I really liked Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, but never really got into a mouse keyboard for playing video games. I've had like good PCs that are considered gaming PCs, but typically would use them for their great graphics cards for video editing or code, like compiling things fast, things like that. Mario World is a theme park I always wanted. Can't wait to take my kids someday. Yeah, man. Mario, that's so cool. I'm really... did you watch the dunk contest? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me write that down, though, in my notes. The dunk contest. Yeah, I like the interview. Afterwards, John D. added me to Twitter. Part 2. Yeah, that's right. That her video is a part 1, so she's got like part 2. Places you would like to visit this year. Ooh, that's good. I'd really like to go to a theme park this year. I've been talking to my wife about that, trying to make plans. We talked about going to a place called Okoboji. We went there a couple of years ago. Okoboji is near Iowa and Minnesota, so it's not that far away. It's like 3 hours away. So we thought like it could be a way to get away but not go very far. It's pretty cheap to do a trip there. We were also talking about going to Kansas City, I think it was. That's in the list of maybes for a vacation. And then I'd really love to go to Florida or LA for like a vacation. And then there's talks about I'd really love to go to a gaming conference this year, but my wife was kind of like, just straight out told me she would prefer that I don't go to any gaming conference this year. I already went to CES, and I basically had 2 more planned. So I need to talk to her more and see. I want to hear what she has to say, like why. I mean, I'm very open to hear her reasoning of why she doesn't really want me to do that. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's time away. It's probably time away. But maybe I can make it work. But I was thinking about going to, I think it's Madison, Wisconsin for the Midwest Gaming Conference. That looked really cool. And then Cleveland is a lot of my friends that are content creators are going to Cleveland. So they're kind of pressuring me into going. So I think I might try to see if my wife is open to me doing the Cleveland trip because I think Michael B will be there and he's in Canada and he doesn't get to come here very often. Who has good local arcades? Went to mine today and played MVC2, Donkey Kong, WrestleFest, Dragon's Lair, Stern, Godzilla, and Iron Maiden. That's awesome. So in Des Moines, I've been trying to go to every single arcade. There's a handful I still haven't gone to. My sister told me about one, and it's one that I haven't gone to in my area. And let me see. In the Des Moines area, basically almost every arcade. I mean, there's a small like secret arcades like this. There's that are not listed anywhere. It's like my wife told me about one. She was shopping. She was like right in the middle of this this store, they just have arcade machines. Like no one knows about it. Like she found it, and then yesterday we were at the mall and she showed it to me. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. So I didn't know about that one, but the pinball map is super helpful because if it's a decent size, arcade, it's probably on the pinball map. And so if you haven't checked it out, you go to the pinball map. I'll share my screen here so everyone can see that. And I'll kind of talk through some of the arcades that are in my area and kind of tell you what's good and what's not. So pinball map, you can explore the map. And I will put Des Moines, Iowa area that I live in. There we go. So Des Moines, Iowa. It's pretty, I don't know. I'm very satisfied with the number of arcades that are in our area. I mean, look at it. It looks a lot, right? And this is accurate. So the ones that have higher numbers are basically the best ones. If you got 14 pinball machines, that's a nice arcade. So this one's one in Grimes. It's free play. It's about $14 with tax to get in. They say it's $10, but then you want to get access to their limited edition machines. They have great limited edition machines in there. Attack from Mars, Jurassic Park limited edition. It's great. Up in Ankeny is really, really nice. 14 pinball machines here. It's mostly pinballs. They have a handful of arcades. Not even like a Street Fighter joystick machine. It's like just, I think they have like the Mario Kart and like the Jurassic Park, raw thrills type stuff. So it's basically all pinballs and then like raw thrills there. It's really nice though. They got some great machines there. Dial In is pretty fun. They got a lot of the new Stern stuff. So then over here where it's 11, same guy that owns this one in Ankeny is also the owner of this one. He's a surgeon, and that's why his arcade is called Operating. And inside there, it's all related to being a doctor and stuff. This is a great place. It's got a lot of Stern stuff. It's a pinball place. And they don't have a lot of arcades. Again, he has like raw thrill stuff. I think he has Halo there. He's got the Pac-Man, 4-player Pac-Man. He's got a lot of the, what is it called? The redemption machines, but the pinball machines are there. Great. I think this is the one. Yeah. Monsterama is the one I want to go to. My sister said she went there and it's just fantastic. So got to go there next. It's on my list to go to. This one, Up Down, is fantastic. I love it. This is my favorite. Up Down. If you're ever in the Des Moines area, go to Up Down. It's downtown near 6th Street, East Village. And they have just an enormous amount of machines at Up Down. I don't know, 40, 80 machines. I'm not really sure. It's just, there's like a wall of Nintendo. For pinball machines, they just got X-Men, which I absolutely love. Been playing that to death. So Up Down I go to about every week for the last several months. So my daughter, she goes to dance right around here. And so I'll just drop her off. It's about 2.5 hours or 2 hours or so on like Thursday. I'll jump up the freeway, hop over, bam, go to Up Down. I got to pay for parking, but it's only like $1. Pay for parking, super cheap. Everything at Up Down is 25 cents. I've gone there, spent an entire hour and a half, spent $4. They also have pizza for only $2. It's really nice. And they got some beers that are pretty good. I usually get Des Moines IPA. Des Moines IPA is pretty good. Low calorie, not too bad. I'm on a diet, losing some weight, but I'll have like one beer. Let's see. So they got the Simpsons there. The Simpsons, Simpsons Party. That's great. Jurassic Park's there. It's great. X-Men's there. They have Back to the Future pinball. They have Point Blank there. They have Marble Madness. I'm trying to think of the one. Superman. Blitz. Great. Okay. And then last Thursday I went there, 10-cent night. It was so great. It was, when you buy tokens, the tokens are only 10 cents. And it only takes one token to play a game. And so I bought $5 worth of tokens. And I only spent like half of it. And I was there for like an hour and a half. They also have Time Crisis 2. Time Crisis 2 at Up Down. It's very cool. It's a very cool place. So there's only a few more I haven't been to. I've never been to the tap room. Never been to this Kung Fu place. Mac Shack. Oh, I've been there actually. It's at the mall, Valley West Mall, and they have the Dark Knight. That's the only thing they got in there. They got pinball and they got like a golden tee. And the Flying Moose. I haven't been to the Flying Moose. It's not bad though. They get dialed in. That's kind of fun. But I really want to go to, and then down here, I've never been here. Oh, it's just some hotel. World Poker Tour. It's all right. I want to go to Monsterama. That's my next one. Anyway, so this has really helped me as a guide because I'd heard about the Ankeny one, but I didn't know what it was called. And so anyway, using this as a guide has really been helpful. So check it out in your area, pinballmap.com. Put your city in there. Figure out what's available, and then put it on your calendar. Be like, I'm going to go check this out. And so I've been going solo for months to all these places, literally by myself, just by myself. I am lonely and have no friends. No, I actually got a couple buddies that are up to come hanging out on Friday night. It's funny. I went to my buddy and I was like, you want to go to the game? You want to go to the arcade and we'll play some games? And he's like, yeah, let's totally do it. And then it was like, it was like every night that I was available, he's got to take his kids. And then the day that he's free is the day that it's like date night with my wife. So we're like, okay, that sucks. So we're going to have to figure that out. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Console Fanboy with Super Chat, he says, I shared MGK's channel on the 1UP page, and there is now a poll to get me banned on that page. I get it. There's a poll? That's interesting. The hate I get is truly sick. What is wrong with people? I don't know, man. I mean, if I'm being honest, can I be honest with you, Console Fanboy? Look, I'm not trying to be hurtful or anything like that. But I think what you're seeing, here's what I think is happening. Console Fanboy, in the last week or two, I think you're like, that's it, I'm done with drama. And I've seen it. You've been positive to me when I communicate with you. And I think you're expecting everybody else to see that. Like, look, I'm not being mean anymore. I just go into live chats and I just contribute positivity. I mean, maybe this wasn't positivity, but I've noticed that. But I think everyone else is still mad at the controversial behavior that you've had over the last couple of years. Nobody's perfect. Like, we all make mistakes. I'm not trying to like point a spotlight at you. I'm just trying to provide some perspective of why some people might be upset. Like, even if you're doing everything great and positive, from you turned a new leaf, everything, people are going to question it based on the past, right? So if you really do want to like show people that you've made a change, then don't get bothered about this either. I don't know. Maybe that would help. Who am I to say what's the right thing to do? I make a lot of mistakes. I say a lot of dumb things. I don't stick up for myself when someone's making fun of me, someone's saying hurtful things about me, and people just believe the hate against me because I never say anything. I never correct them. Maybe that's my mistake. I don't know. Don't take advice from me. But I'm sorry that you're upset. Let's see. JJ says, come to the Texas Pinball Fest in Frisco at the Star, which is the Cowboys practice facility, March 25th. That would be fun. Ooh, if you guys are ever in Dallas, Free Play Arcade, Barcadia rocks. There are several great ones all over Dallas. I used to live in Dallas. That's pretty cool. Look at that. P-Dubs Arcade Loft just became a member. Thank you so much, P-Dubs, for becoming a ConsoleKits member. I don't even think I have like a term for it. It's just like, I should come up with a good, you're part of the Kit Crew. Ooh, that's pretty good, right? Kit Crew, because it's Kit Crew, has the cuss sound at the beginning. Maybe. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Really do. Oh, man, that sucks, man. You got great weather in your area, but there's no pinball tables within 50 miles. Sucks, man. Do you need to add pinballs to the map? No, you just do a search. It'll show you the machines. You can log in. Like, this is community driven, the pinball map. Like, if there's a... Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, are you referring to this other guy? Like, Mad Aster Gaming. If there are, in fact, pinball arcades in your area, but they don't show up on pinballmap.com, my understanding is you can log in and add them and be like, this place does have pinballs. But I would assume that any dealer, any operator of a pinball would be familiar with Pinball Map and, try to get their name on there. I would assume, but I guess it's possible they wouldn't know about it. There we go. 10 more subs for MKG, and he has 250. MKG, Mike Game Killer. Let's see. So, YouTube. Let's talk about it. So, Mike Game Killer. Yeah, so what we're talking about is Zohar has made it his mission in life. No, he's a cool dude. He does a podcast. MGK and Endless One Up do a podcast together. And he's trying to grow his channel, and Zohar absolutely loves him. But here's the thing. Those in the chat, you probably hate Zohar, right? So you're like, I'm not gonna go subscribe to My Game Killer because Zohar likes them. Like, that's not me. I'm specifically gonna go unsubscribe from him because I dislike Zohar so much. And that may be true. But don't do it for Zohar. Do it for me. He's a nice guy. I've been on his channel. He's a cool dude. He's got a nice camera. He's got a nice appearance. And I like the way he talks. Right? He's putting in his time. And like I said before, you could go over to his channel. You could hit subscribe. And if you'll start seeing his content show up, and then it's on you, Mike. Don't be like me. Don't make crappy videos like me. Make good content and people watch. And then if you, the consumer, are not getting what you were hoping for out of his channel, you should unsubscribe, right? But give him a chance. He steps it up or maybe already meets your expectations. Then you'll be happy. I don't mean this in any discouraging way. I'm saying it in a way for positivity, motivation, all of that good stuff, right? I'm just saying, like, that's interesting how the YouTube works. Like, I do it all the time. You hit subscribe, and then you start seeing content show up, and then pretty quick if you're like, this channel's not for me, and you'll unsubscribe. But eventually, you got this nice group of content creators. You go into YouTube, you hit your subscriptions. You're like, yes, content that I like, content that is talking about topics from people that I appreciate. Yes. Oh, love that video. Gonna comment on it, like it. It's all good. This is a part of YouTube I really like. Yeah, there we go. He's funny. Does a show with Endless. See? Other people support him. He does quality content. Free MGK. See, this if you don't know, this is Zohar switching his theme. He's like, I don't care about free MK4 anymore because Arcade 1UP let everybody down when it came to free MK4. They're not going to come out with it. Maybe it's WB's fault, whatever. And Zohar's like, forget that. Let me support somebody that will pay dividends every single time. He's a content creator. He's not going to let you down. That's what Console Fanboy is saying. Warner Brothers is going to let you down, but this guy won't. Free MGK. There you go. Did Fox pick up the Star Wars arcade yet? Nope. He didn't pick it up yet because he's a lame-o. There we go. 8 more. Let's go. It's kind of funny. Can we pull up a live A live view of, let's see, subscribers live count. Let me find that website. Enter in the username. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be there in just a second. Here we go. Get rid of this ad. Oh, we're almost there, guys. Look at this. It's all you. You're making it happen. And right here before our eyes, you're making it happen. Look at it. He's at 244 subscribers. We got more people that are going to watch his videos coming out in the next week, giving him some growth. 244. Matt says he's going to give him a shot. I subbed. I'll give him a shot. Oh, 245. Look at that. Look at that. Look how awesome you guys are. This is Mike, you deliver, man. Don't be nervous. You got some new subscribers coming. This is what you're going to do. Is you're going to add value to the community. You've already done it. You're going to continue doing it. You're going to think about the next set of videos that you're going to make, and you're going to think, I'm giving value to the community. One of the best ways to give value to the community, don't listen to me. Don't copy me. Do as I say, not as I do. Actually, this is what I've been thinking about doing for a while now, is like my next set of videos that I'll upload, they have to add value. I got to take 20 hours of my time and trim it down to like 5 minutes. The best videos I've ever done were ones that I invested so much time that when I released the video, so many comments were like, thank you for this video. And it's because what I did was I took a lot of research and time. It took, maybe it was, 20 hours is probably too much. Well, maybe it was. The best review video that I made last year was the new Street Fighter Yoga Flame, and it was 2 weekends of filming, all day, Saturday and Sunday, for 2 weekends, then another day of editing. So it could have been 20 hours of video, crammed down to like 10 minutes, shot after shot after shot after shot. People love that video. And that was interesting. It's the only sponsored video I've ever done from Arcade 1-Up. The only thing I've ever received free from Arcade 1-Up was that Yoga Flame edition. And I sat there and thought, I was like, wow, will I have this pressure to like say it's like a positive review? Like I could feel it. And maybe I did. You could say I'm a shill. I don't care. But I can tell you what I thought is I'm going to spend a lot of time. And that's what I'm giving back to the community, what I'm giving back to Arcade 1-Up for giving me a free cabinet. I'm going to spend a lot of time filming and a lot of time editing. So maybe the company will feel that they got their money's worth. Like I made a commercial, if you will. But right away in the video, this is the weird thing about like trying not to be a shill. There is a formula for not trying to be a shill. You get something for free and you say something negative. It's like, look, I'm not a shill. I said something negative. It's kind of funny. Even in the community, you look at people's comments. He's not a shill. He says negative stuff. So evidently, that's the formula. Like, you can have a sponsored video and then say negative things. And no, they don't really wash each other out, but there's a perception that it does. But the main focus that I want to talk about is I do a lot of these live streams and I don't think they have a lot of value. Like the community maybe likes them and I gather some groups together and I just rant for a while, and some people like the podcast style. That's fine. But I really do want to try to add a ton of value, right? Like just do a lot of research, do a lot of editing. And the more time you spend on the video, I think the more value it gets. But speaking of value, those in the chat right now, you did it. Look at this guy. He got his goal at 250. Now think about that. That probably means a lot to Mike Game Killa. You set these goals, these milestones that you want to reach. And when you achieve them, that's cool. Like you have a friend, right? That he's like, oh man. Like for example, I'm just about to reach a goal. And I was 200 pounds. Like, there's some people that weigh more than me. There's some people that weigh less than me. It's not about that. But I had a goal of trying to get skinnier, right? So I'm almost at 180. It's almost like a loss of 20 pounds. And it's been hard. I've been working on it since December. So every single day since December, every meal that I make, every choice that I make on a daily basis, a lot of water, a lot of veggies. It's been difficult, right? But I know that I'm in better shape than I was. I'm healthier than I was, and I'm on the track to be healthier than I've ever been for like 20 years. And I've really focused on that milestone, that goal. And so we all have milestones, we all have goals. And I appreciate you, Andy, saying that's awesome, because like that's what it's about, right? It's like when you reach that goal, like it's weird. I don't want to brag about it. I don't want like people to be like, oh, that, I appreciate you saying that's awesome. I do appreciate that. At best, I want to be motivating. Like I was talking to Steps. Steps made a video about working on her weight, working on her health. And I messaged her and I was like, I just unloaded every idea that I've had for losing weight. And I said, this is what I've been doing. It's working. I don't feel like it's a rubber band diet. It's very simple. Everyone's different. So, don't take this as medical advice in any way. But what's helping me is, so I evaluated how many calories that I should have on a daily basis. The math that I came up with based on my height, based on my weight, is 1,700 calories. And I don't count veggies at all. Veggies don't count towards the calories. So I can eat unlimited veggies. So what I've gone to is I have a meal every three times a day. I have a breakfast sandwich, low calories. I have like a cheeseburger, low calories, and I have a dinner, low calories. But at lunch, I have a salad. That's like a bowl of salad. And I have just a little bit of cheese on it. It's low-fat cheese. And a dressing that is ranch-style dressing, but with 2 tablespoons, it's only 10 calories. So it's a very low-calorie dressing. That's it. And it works. It's like I feel full, but I have a lot of veggies. And like for dinner, typically it's like a lot of green beans or a lot of broccoli. Like that's the most quantity of the thing that I'm eating. And then maybe it's like a steak, but it's a very small one, 2 ounces, 3 ounces. So, but I make sure that I get close to that 1,700. It's not about hitting 1,000. It's not 2,000. Like I really aim for that 1,700. And I feel like I'm eating a ton. And my wife and I figured this out. And the reason why I feel like I'm eating a ton is because typically when you're not focusing on like planning out your meal, you'll like kind of, let me say what I do, what I've done in the past. I'll end up starving myself essentially. Like I skipped a meal and then I binge. Like, oh, I didn't even eat a lunch, so I'm going to have a big dinner. Like I just got distracted and I didn't have breakfast, so then I have a big lunch. And in the end, I probably was just eating a ton of calories. And over the time, like I gained weight. And I was on the track of like continuing to gain weight. So now every choice, every step you make, I'll be watching. Yeah, I see you guys in the chat. Yeah. So veggies are free food in most diets. But what happened for me was it didn't take long for the salad to be something I started craving. And I'm like, what is going on? Like I'm looking forward to my salad. And it's not like I'm having salad with some chicken on it. It's like the salad is like the side, so I'll eat the salad and then I eat a small burger or something. And I do some Asian on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So tonight when I eat in a little bit. And then like when I do this podcast, it's the only time I drink outside of this. And then like I mentioned earlier on the show, like I went to the 1UP bar and it was like I was planning that day and I was like, I'm going to have one beer and it's a 16-ounce beer and I'm going to get the Blue Moon, which is this like ranging between 200 and 300 calories. I don't like to drink my calories, but on that day I'm going to substitute that. But I'm gonna eat more salad to kind of feel full, even though I'll probably have less calories. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm ranting about this. It's just, this is my life now. So if we want to talk about a diet, like the next, I don't even exercise yet, and I've already lost 20 pounds, but that's the next piece. I've been too lazy to exercise, but I want to get on a treadmill, do it. So in the month of February, which I'm running out, I'm going to go on the treadmill one time. And that's what I was telling Steps. Like, you make these small milestones and you just make efforts to reach them and try to celebrate that with somebody. And so I have my wife to celebrate that with. She, she's like, wants me to be healthy. So she's healthy, so I should be healthy. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. We did it. MKG, 253 subscribers. He's hitting a milestone. And go check him out. Give him a chance. He has content on his channel right now. And then he's going to continue making content as well. And I'm really hoping that a lot of people enjoy his content and continue to subscribe. Anyway, go check him out. I put the link in the chat here. I think we got through all the topics that I wanted to talk about. Finally, in the end, did we learn anything? Did we learn anything from the one update? I think we learned one thing. This is my final comment on the matter about that show. I think they're trying. The fact that we saw David McIntosh talk at all is a good sign. I think there was a lot of filler content in that. It probably won't be in the next one. Travis wanted to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes to try to get the community to understand that it's not his fault that the other show was canceled. He wanted, David McIntosh on the record taking the blame for that. He wanted to get the community to take a little heat off of him. He's getting a lot of pressure, so I get that. But I am excited to some new machines coming out this year. It sounds like they're kind of teasing that. 2 or 3 more machines. That's cool. They admitted that they made some mistakes on the Pro. Probably going to go back onto the R&D and try to crack that nut a little bit better. They understand that the community really wants quality. So BOE sounds like it'll be standard. Maybe it'll, they'll have the TN monitors on the Pac-Man machines no one wants. Maybe. I don't know. Will Travis be back? I think so. It sounded like he's in. I think from their point of view, I don't think there was I didn't hear any drama from the show. I think I was reading through some of the comments on the video, and there's a handful of people that are like, this is horrible. But generally, I think there was a lot of comments of people saying this was good. This was positive. Yeah, and I'm not going to end the stream just yet. You made a really good point. Constorm, sorry. 19K Fox is going to be streaming next. He's a good buddy of mine. Yeah, I love that guy. He's so great. I've hung out with him in person several times, had dinner with him. He came to Des Moines. Honestly, I'm giving him a Star Wars trilogy arcade machine just so he comes and visits me. That's selfish on me. Arcade machine just so he comes. So anyway, but you got to check out his podcast. Love his podcast. I usually do my show, and then I got to do trash on Sunday night. So I will. It's a whole ordeal. And so what I will do typically is listen to his podcast while I'm doing all these activities at night. And I really enjoy that podcast. I think he has really good perspectives of what's going on in the community. I think he brings a lot of positivity to the community in general. And then also 19K Fox, he's better than me in a lot of ways where he will, if someone's calling him out, he doesn't take it. He's like, screw you, whatever. I like his approach to that. It's not me, but it's him, but I appreciate that. So the reason why I didn't want to end the stream just yet, because I want to make sure that anyone who's watching this show tonight gets I just set it up to redirect. And so his show is starting in 15 minutes. And if you're watching this after the replay is complete, it should redirect to him. But if not, I'm gonna put the link in the chat for the people that are here. Add this to your watch list. 19K Fox is a great dude, and I think he's very fair with his content. And let's take a look at it real quick. It's this week. What is his topics? Starting in 14 minutes, he's going to talk about the one update. He's going to talk about 4K coming to the Legends. Spoiler, I think he's totally buying into the Legends. He doesn't have any Legends stuff, but he's in now. And what is he talking about with this XL? An XL Pac-Man, maybe? I don't really know. I guess I'll find out pretty soon. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Appreciate all of the donations tonight. You didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it, showing your support in the community. It really changes things for me, because I thought all you guys hated me. But evidently there's a handful out there that really like to be able to do that type of donation. The love is in the room for sure. So appreciate it. I'm going to try to bring value. That's what I'm going to do. Bring value to the community. I'll try. We'll see. All right. Take care, guys. Really appreciate you. See you.